Imagine waking up every day feeling invisible, like a single drop in an ocean too vast to make a ripple. That was Maya's reality, working at a bustling cafe in a city where everyone seemed too busy to notice the little things. The city was alive with noise and movement, a place where people rushed from one destination to another, their faces often glued to screens or lost in thought. Despite the crowd, Maya felt isolated, as if her presence barely registered in the grand scheme of urban life. But what happened next will change how you see everyday kindness forever. Maya noticed the old man who came in every morning, ordering black coffee but never paying. At first, she thought it was a mistake, maybe a misunderstanding or a moment of forgetfulness, but he simply smiled and shook his head when the owner confronted him. The cafe owner was tough, insisting on payment and wary of losing money in a business that ran on slim margins. Yet Maya saw something else: loneliness, a silent struggle that couldn't be resolved with money or rules. Instead of turning away or reporting the man, she started slipping an extra pastry onto his tray, no questions asked. It was a small gesture, almost invisible in the grand scheme of things, but to Maya, it felt profoundly human. This small act wasn't easy. Maya had just enough to cover her own expenses and sometimes skipped her lunch to keep the kindness going. The cafe was her livelihood, and every penny counted. She faced judgment from coworkers who thought she was naive, even foolish. They whispered about how she was being taken advantage of, how kindness meant weakness in a world that rewarded toughness. But she held on to a simple strategy, focusing on what she could give, not what she lacked. With every pastry she gave away, Maya felt a growing sense of purpose, a quiet rebellion against the indifference that seemed to define city life. One rainy morning, the old man left behind a worn notebook filled with sketches of the city's forgotten places, broken benches, cracked sidewalks, abandoned gardens. Each drawing captured a part of the city that most people overlooked, places where time seemed to stand still amid the rush of modern life. Inspired, Maya shared the notebook with her community on social media, inviting others to see the beauty in what was overlooked. She wrote about the power of noticing, of finding stories in the cracks and corners of everyday life. The response was astounding. People began visiting these spots, cleaning them up, planting flowers, and painting murals. Volunteers gathered on weekends, armed with paintbrushes, gardening tools, and a shared sense of hope. Local businesses donated supplies, schools organized field trips, and artists contributed their talents. Maya's small kindness had become a spark, igniting a movement that transformed the neighborhood's spirit. What was once ignored became a source of pride and connection. As the community came together, Maya witnessed something remarkable. Strangers started talking to each other, sharing stories, and building relationships. The city felt less cold, less impersonal. The old man, once invisible, became a symbol of resilience and creativity. His sketches were displayed in a local gallery, and he was invited to speak about the places that inspired him. Maya realized that kindness, even when quiet and unseen, has the power to ripple outward and touch countless lives. What made this possible wasn't grand gestures, but consistent, compassionate choices. Maya's story teaches us that even when resources are scarce and obstacles loom large, like financial strain, skepticism, or fear of judgment, we can still create impact by 1. Observing deeply, noticing what others might miss, like Maya saw the old man's loneliness and the city's hidden beauty. It means slowing down enough to see beneath the surface, to recognize the humanity in others and the potential in forgotten spaces. 2. Acting quietly, small, repeated actions that don't require spotlight but build momentum. These acts may seem insignificant alone, but together they accumulate into meaningful change. It's about choosing kindness every day, even when it's inconvenient or unnoticed. 3. Connecting authentically, sharing stories and inviting others to join, turning individual kindness into collective change. When we open our hearts and voices, we create communities rooted in empathy and mutual support. Maya's journey also reminds us that kindness is not a finite resource. Giving does not always deplete us. Often, it replenishes and strengthens our sense of belonging and purpose. Challenges will arise. There will be days when the world feels harsh and doubts creep in. But the choice to act with compassion remains a powerful tool to reshape our environments and ourselves. Beyond the neighborhood, Maya's story inspired others in distant cities to look around and find their own hidden corners in need of care. Social media became a platform for sharing small acts of kindness, creating a network of individuals committed to making their communities better. The ripple effect showed that even in a vast ocean, a single drop can set a wave in motion. So next time you feel invisible or powerless, remember Maya's journey. Your everyday kindness, no matter how small or unseen, is the first drop that can start a wave. Look around, act with intention, and watch how your simple choices can reshape the world one heart at a time. When you notice the unnoticed, when you offer help without expectation, and when you invite others to join in, you become part of a story bigger than yourself. A story of hope, connection, and transformation.